And it's found that former Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba's approval of the early naturalization of the Gupta family was fraudulent. And we will be speaking to the Portfolio Committee member there regarding this particular matter right after this. All right, I believe he's already there. So let's go to that interview as it stands. The committee, of course, making several recommendations in this regard, amongst them that Ashu Chawla should have his South African citizenship revoked. And to get more details on this, I'm joined on the line right now by Chairperson of Parliament's Home Affairs Portfolio Committee, Hlomani Chauke. Mr. Chauke, thanks so much for speaking to us this morning.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers of SABC.
So, Mr. Chauke, your committee has made a recommendation. If you can just, at the initial stage, talk us through the process in reaching consensus on the recommendations.
Well, I think just to go back for viewers to recall that Parliament Portfolio Committee, based on the request of the chair of chairs from the Speaker's office, were requested to investigate the naturalization of the Gupta family and to investigate if there's no element of state capture in the whole arrangement. And I think we've gone through that process where we invited witnesses that appeared before the Portfolio Committee board. Majority of the people that appeared was officials of the department, the Director General and the Minister of Home Affairs, Minister Malusi. Based on the engagement that we've had in the inquiry, the level of the process in which was followed to naturalize the Gupta citizenship, we identified that proper due diligence was not done, meaning that a number of information that was submitted for that early naturalization was the fraudulent information submitted by Chawla, who happened to be somehow Gupta-related person. And both the minister and the committee agreed that that due diligence was not properly done. Therefore, what we then make a conclusion on, meaning that based on the observation that we've gone through, is that the citizenship of the Gupta needs to be reviewed as a matter of agent. And the level of problems that we have identified on how the department was captured by some of these Gupta lieutenants, we refer the matter to be further processed by the commission that is currently dealing with issues of state capture. And I believe that the manner in which we have approached this issue, it sort of has assisted Parliament, and it will assist those that will then take the process further forward to deal with elements of state capture and find a closure of it and really expose some of the issues that we have identified as a committee.
Mr. Chauke, when you say that the department was captured, that is a very serious allegation. And in saying that, one then has to ask the question that the former minister then, Home Affairs Minister in this instance at the time, who approved the early naturalization, Malusi Gigaba, you haven't really made any recommendations that affect him. So why is it that you didn't go to that extent?
I think the approach that we took, we went, we already looked at the level in which where this application started, and we, to the details that we then look at information submitted before even it arrives at the minister, right? We look at the information submitted, and you'll recall that this application was rejected at some point by the department based on the failure by two of the applicants, whom the department has clubbed the entire family together in the application. Failure to have been in the country for a period of time, therefore did not qualify for them to be naturalized. Then there's a letter that came, written by Chawla, and that letter in our investigation and confirmed in the meeting, both with the minister and the committee, was that that letter did not come to the attention of the minister, but was processed at the lowest level of the department, meaning that Chawla had access to interact with officials of the department, not only around the issue of naturalization, even the issues of NN7 in its establishment of NN7, and a lot of Indian nationals were brought into the country fraudulently so. And there was a clear connive between Chawla and officials of the department. Both were based in Mumbai and those that were based in the country here. That was confirmed in the meeting, that there was a relationship to an extent that officials at the lowest level, in fact, were able to share confidential information of the state with Chawla, information that you will not give to anyone in the public space, general. So the issues, the fact that the minister agreed with us that due diligence was not done, and therefore the recommendations that we're making is the reviewing of that particular application for early naturalization. And I think that if we refer the matter further to those who will then deal with the issues of state capture and all of that, they will be able, I think, to go deeper, because Parliament and its limited way were not able to get deeper into some of the issues that were already coming forward. You'll recall that our last witness was only last week, when we spent so much time trying to get that witness that went to India, who happened to be Chawla. So the matter does not end here. It will further be processed, and I believe that the investigators that are dealing with element of state capture will be able to look at our information, and they'll call anyone involved in that process.
You've also come out to say that Ashu Chawla, apart from having his citizenship revoked, you referred to him as the mastermind. Explain to us how you arrived at that conclusion that Ashu Chawla happens to be the mastermind, because who were his political connections in order for him to have the sort of access to Home Affairs that he had? Because this would go once again to some of the criticism that would state that you are once again going for the small fry instead of going after the big fish.
But in the inquiry, there's a witness, Sundarai, who in fact brought the matters of irregularities to the attention of the Director General of Home Affairs, which he wrote a letter. And that is supported by the affidavit that was lodged by Sundarai, who happened to be working for the Gupta establishment of the NN7. In that affidavit that he deposited, you see clearly between the gentleman by the name of Christian, who was based in Mumbai, and the gentleman who has the overall responsibility of coordinating missions, who happened to be Major Kovese. And that's where we located the relationship, right? We located that relationship. That is why in the recommendations that we're not making it because these are junior officials, but we're making this recommendation of criminal investigation on the basis of what we have discovered of that relationship that existed, right? So it's not a question of we now chasing the small people, we live in the big people. And in that investigation that the police will do, I will definitely think that they will want to persuade the matter further, even beyond the officials that we have identified, right? Because that's where the relationship existed. That's where we believe that the element of capture started from that level. And those who will definitely be able to take it forward, they will call anyone, both if it's the minister, Gigaba, Amy, all of them will definitely have to go and respond to the issues that would have been investigated. And again, should that be investigated as a committee. So we're not leaving anyone. What is very important is that we are making this call that citizenship given to the Guptas must be reviewed with immediate effect. That on itself, I think, is one of the most important things based on the considering of both the minister, the Director General, that due diligence was never done. And I think the committee has managed to get to that level and encourage this matter to be further probed. I think that's how the committee has really tried our level best to arrive at.
And then we look at the other roles of other players here. We look at, but not limited to, of course, to the former Director General Nkoseli Apleni, the Deputy Director General for Immigration Jackie McKay is mentioned. The committee also said that they failed in their oversight roles, amongst others. So what exactly is going to happen to them?
Well, look, the position that we are taking and the recommendations that we are taking, we then call for an action that must be taken against those officials, meaning that a disciplinary process will have to be engaged on. If someone has a responsibility as the DPG, either the chief director, who has the responsibility to make sure that a proper document with regard to application documents that are sent in are done properly. Because the supervisors, the managers, the directors there. And the action need to be taken, and we're recommending that the department will have to take action against such people that we have identified in the process of failure to have done proper due diligence with regard to this application.
So, Mr. Chauke, what is the current citizenship status of the Guptas, the ones who were granted that early naturalization? Are they South African citizens at this stage? And have you managed to track them down?
No, what we have done is that we have gone deeper, not only focusing at the application of Gupta. We have gone into the entire family, the three brothers of the Guptas, and then we have followed each and every one of them how they acquired citizenship. To an extent that by the time that Ajay Gupta and his family were applying for the early naturalization, by that time, we would have qualified because they would have spent so much time in the country that allowed them, based on that, to apply for a permanent and for citizenship or naturalization rather than early naturalization. But what we then found was that because the department has clubbed them together as a family, these applications would not come at the same time. They came at different times, and the issue is that the department then decided to club them together as a one application of the family, right? And the question that we're asking ourselves, obviously, the committee and the department, was that how did they arrive at the level of when an application is lodged by one person, you wait until another one applies, then you see that's one of those problems. But but the point that we're making is that these ones, in fact, because of the fraudulent nature, even if they were to qualify to have applied, both Ajay Gupta and his two sons, his wife and his mother, did not qualify on the basis of that they were outside the Republic for a period of time. If you are under permanent resident, you need to be within the country for a period of time. If over 90 days they were out of the Republic, the law does not allow you, in fact, to be naturalized. That's how that application was rejected, right? So they did not qualify on those bases as a family application. They did not qualify on those bases. It was then rejected. That's when this new element then of Chawla comes in, of this letter, fraudulent letter that he now writes to the department, and the department then processes that letter, which in fact the letter itself is not even addressed to the department directly. That letter is addressed to the minister, supposed to be referred to the department by the minister. But here you find a situation where both the civic services, DPG, who happened to in his event, it's able, in his level of operation, to process a letter that was not even addressed to them, right? It does not even have a covering letter that comes from the minister that says that I want or I'm intending to approve the following, which means that once you submit that letter, a proper file with their due diligence supposed to have been done. They said they are doing support to different schools in the country, especially in the Northwest. We invited the MEC of the Northwest to come in. And what was the finding is that all that information that was submitted was fraudulent information.
Now, Mr. Chauke, you further recommended criminal charges against Ashu Chawla and members of the Gupta family. Which members of the Gupta family should be criminally charged?
No, it's those around that application. I'll take it that will be out in Gupta and his family, because the information that has been submitted is fraudulent information. And then Ashu Chawla, on the basis of the law, that in the application you submit wrong information, 69 of the law confirms that if you submit fraudulent information, the application will not be processed, and therefore you'll be liable criminally. So the citizenship law is very clear around that particular area. Hence, we're making the recommendations that action need to be taken and you need to be charged criminally. And once you're charged criminally, your whole status in the country then becomes questionable, and the recommendations therefore that we're making is that the citizenship will have to be reviewed urgently too.
And we are going to have to leave it there. But thank you so much for your time this morning. Home Affairs Portfolio Committee Chairperson Hlomani Chauke. And the committee has found that former Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba's approval of the early naturalization of the Gupta family was actually fraudulent. So it remains to be seen, as it is referred to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, how that is actually dealt with and plays out. We're going to take a break. After that, we'll bring you your newspaper headline.